guys, welcome to Dominical, Costa Rica. Last time I talked to you, I was in Manuel Antonio. I've been here, I think 4 days now. I got here on Tuesday, and it's been pretty chill since I've been here. So a few last little things I forgot to mention from before. Oh, not really important, but it was fun. That last night in Santa Teresa, I mentioned everyone there is always driving around on quads. Anyways, that last night we managed to get I think 7 people it was packed on one quad, so it was pretty fun riding around on that. Anyways, singing with the music and all that stuff. And then in Manuel Antonio, I started using a shorter board there, a 6'4". So anyways, it's cool seeing I've been able to go down size with the boards and still doing a pretty decent job. Another different thing about there is that I'd mentioned it's really local type of beach, but it's the first one I've seen where you can drive cars down onto the beach. So that was really different in Manuel Antonio. And first time I had a coconut I didn't have to pay for. The guy that worked there with renting the surfboards would just go grab one and crack them open and that. So that was cool. I was traveling around with that coconut for a few more days till I finally opened it and ate the whole thing. But few side notes, and then the same guy who rented the boards had told me, I mentioned that sauna we went to in the middle of nowhere. They had mentioned possibly going back the next day, but anyways, when I went back the last day to return the board, he told me it burned down later that day after we were there. So that was crazy. I don't know. Basically it was really hot, and I guess after we had left they hadn't opened the door and whatever, and it burned down. So it's kind of insane. But at least we got to enjoy it first. So sad for them, they're gonna have to rebuild that. But that was the end of Manuel Antonio. And then the first time I took a local bus to get here. So I took a bus from Manuel Antonio to Quepos, and then later in the afternoon another one to Dominical. The buses in general are super cheap, but Costa Rica doesn't have many direct routes to get anywhere. So if you are taking buses, it usually takes forever, and you just gotta go all the way around to get somewhere because there's no straight shot. But anyways, that was the first time I did that, traveling along the way so far in Costa Rica to my next destination. And then the first couple days here were pretty chill. The waves were huge, gigantic, big waves, crashing, closing out. So not a ton of fun because it's definitely intimidating and above my level, I would say. I was able to catch a few, but for the most part, just trying to stay alive, you know? But anyways, that was the first couple days. This beach is a bit different too. It's again super small, hippie vibe in general, but just not a lot at all. It's a really small town. The beach is kind of rocky, that's different. So here where I am now, it's sandy, but just right above that, it's covered in rocks. And then there's the main kind of street that goes through, and another little main street that has a market area that's always there, so that's nice. But that's kind of the vibe of the town. The first night after I got in, we also went, so one of the guys I had met in Santa Teresa, he had told me about this place. That's why I ended up coming here. He said it's his favorite spot and it's super cool. And then a couple of the other girls are also in Santa Teresa that knew the same guy. He had told them, so they also came here. So we all kind of have been hanging out and meeting up here. But anyways, I went with him later to this kind of dive bar called Rum Bar that's all glow in the dark with black lights and stuff like that. And they have pool and ping pong and stuff like that. So it's nice just to get out for a little bit and play some games. The ping pong table was just a makeshift one that they threw together, so it didn't work so well. But anyways, it's fun to check that out. And then walked around the town a little bit one day, so got to explore the area a bit. Again, a small town, but nice to just check it out. And then the third day, so a few of us, 6 of us, went to check out this other beach because the waves were so crazy here, and we had heard there's a couple other ones close by that are good and they'll be better when it's really big here. So we went to another one called Playa Hermosa. There's a ton of beaches in Costa Rica called Playa Hermosa. So this was another one. I think maybe the third one I've been to with that name so far in Costa Rica since I've been here. But that was better, definitely better. Like, was able to catch more waves, more fun, and not like so crazy. I've also been using a 6'4" board here, so again, it's nice being able to like maneuver with a smaller board. Definitely feel like I'm getting better, which is nice. And then later that day, we ended up going to this brewery here called Fuego, which was nice. Definitely different than the Rum Bar, because it's more of like a nicer spot than a dive bar. But yeah, a few of us went there, grabbed a couple drinks, and then ended up later hanging out on the beach. A few of us and like some local guys showed up and just listening to music and hanging out. Anyways, that was cool. Also forgot to mention, I think it was like, yeah, when we went to Playa Hermosa that day and the next day, mostly that day, it started pouring rain. First time since I've been here. Started pouring rain like right when we were going to surf. But it was kind of cool because the water was warm, the rain was cool, and eventually stopped and had an amazing sunset later. The sunsets here have been the best I've seen so far in this area since I've been in Costa Rica. So really nice sunsets. But yeah, so that was kind of cool to experience. Lightning and thunder at some point, so also a little sketchy, but not too much. So didn't risk my life too bad. And then yesterday was an interesting day. So again, there's not much to do here. So one of the other girls was like, hey, let's kind of get out and do something else to get out of the town and not just be hanging around the hostel, because a lot of people just hang out there during the day because it's just really hot during the day. So you either want to be in the water, like inside, but not in the sun. It's just brutal. So we went to this town close by, which is a bigger town called Uvita. The plan was to walk around town, like check out the stores and walk to the beach there, and then later to surf in that area to go back to Playa Hermosa. But anyways, the day before we had met this guy when we were leaving surfing that had a little restaurant there in Uvita. So we're like, oh, we'll go there for lunch and then we'll do the rest. We ended up staying there. I'm gonna turn around just because I need to start heading back anyways, and that will save me time on my walk. But, so, we ended up hanging out there for lunch, but like spending a long time because it was just kind of like this house that he would like cook out of, so super low-key chilled, not like big restaurant at all. Total opposite. It was super nice though. We hung out there, talked a while. Oh, and then another thing, I'm leaving like in an hour now, but this town, like none of the ATMs were working, so I couldn't take out money. And then that guy ended up being like, okay, I'll drive you, I can drive you to the ATM in Uvita. So he did that. We're running into the same problems, like the ATMs weren't working. He drove us to 3. And it was crazy because I'm like, I'm down to seriously like almost 0 colones is the currency here, and I need money to get out of here. So finally, anyways, he dropped us at 1 where there was a line, but it was like the one working ATM. So got some money out. And then me and one of the other girls, again, long story, but we're, you know, cutting into time now and trying to decide where to go to surf, and we didn't end up bringing the boards because we figured we could rent them. This whole long story, and I'm already trying to like sum it up a little, but we ended up deciding to go to Domincalito, which is another one of those beaches close by that tends to have like not as crazy surf, smaller. So we go there, we take the bus there, get dropped off. We heard we could rent boards there. Ask this guy when I get to the beach, and he's like, yeah, I have some boards. He brings some out of the shed. Too short, too long boards, but it was super small waves, so you couldn't even use short boards. And the long boards were destroyed. I mean, they had like maybe 1 fin on them out of 3 and were really bad shape. So we're just like, we can't use these to surf. So then we were trying to get back to Dominical. What we had heard is there's just no more buses at that time. Anyways, so then we're trying to hitch a ride back and hopefully like have enough time to surf. So after waiting for about 20 minutes, slightly more maybe, this French girl who was leaving Dominicalito, that beach, she like stopped and waved us over. She was going to Dominical, so she dropped us off. We ended up just renting the same boards or using the same boards we had been using at our hostel, and like ran to the beach to get a little bit of surfing in, which ended up being only half an hour was all we had time for, and it ended up being super fun. So of course we should have just done that the whole time, because the last couple days have been a lot smaller here. It's been totally different experience in those first couple days that were crazy, which we were trying to avoid. In the end, it's been a lot better lately, so it definitely had to do with the conditions like at that time. But that pretty much brings you up to date, I think, on everything here. Another side note thing, I had mentioned before how I hadn't had a lot of the local experience and would possibly do couch surfing. I did look into that a little bit for here, and Pavones is where I'm going next today. And there's just like no options really. I think just because there's small little beach towns, and anyways, couch surfing isn't really big in small places. So anyways, I'm sticking with hostels, but I did look into it. So yeah, I think that's everything up to date. I'm literally leaving in under an hour now, so I gotta go back and get ready and get my shit together. So let me show you real quick the views of the beach, and then I will say goodbye. All right, here is the beach. Really pretty green, lots of green palm trees and all that stuff. Here's the little waves. It's kind of hard to tell where you are sometimes, as far as like the beach looks the same everywhere, so it's easy to kind of get lost. All right, I'm gonna turn around so you can slightly see me. Okay, I think that's all for now, so I will talk to you guys next in Pavones, which is the second longest left-breaking wave in the world. So I hope the conditions are good. Wish me luck. Bye.